Greetings everyone and welcome to the SMOOREZ archive. These are just all my old videos that I took down that I am re-releasing with some slight edits here and there. I did these DHGate Cheapo sneaker reviews for entertainment and educational purposes, and I do not endorse the sales of any Replica products whatsoever. No links to any of these items will be given since these videos were done ages ago anyways. Well, I hope you do get a kick out of my old content. Hello everyone and welcome back to another DHGate review. This time, things are going to be changed up just ever so slightly, because this isn't just a normal ordinary DHGate review thing. This is actually going to be a real to fake comparison, an actual one for once, because I happen to own two legit pairs of this certain shoe, and I just wanted to see what the cheapest one on DHGate is like compared to my real ones. In a very crappy packaged plastic bag. It's not a garbage bag, it's actually a plastic bag with dodgy looking tape on it. It's actually a very dodgy looking parcel. Contains a pair of supposedly Air Max Plus or TNs tuned, that's what they're usually called. So will the really cheap ones be exactly like the real deal? Let's find out and see. I've also changed my camera back to a Galaxy S8 because it got an Android Pie update which improved the camera, so I'm just testing it out for this video. I may go back to my usual camera, but I just wanted to test it. Let's open this parcel. How's the safest way I'm going to open this? Let's just go... Was that safe? Was that really safe? No, it wasn't. Yeah, because I just sliced through the garbage bag, but that's okay, not a problem. So we have a pair of really squished Air Max TNs. Now I'm just going to unsquish them, kind of not really helping. There we go, that'll do. Doesn't matter what I do because they're just going to go back to being squished. That doesn't matter. First impressions, that Nike swoosh. Somebody forgot to paint just a little bit, you know, just forgot to paint here and forgot to paint there and just overall forgot to paint. Actually, I found a little piece on my carpet just before when I was opening the parcel up from the shoe. So I think it's probably part of here. We have the stitching, which is a little iffy there. Horribly squished. I mean, they couldn't have packed it in a tighter parcel. It's just going to go straight back to being squished again. So unless I put my foot into it and actually try it on and all that sort of stuff, then it will be fine. All the Air Max platforms and all that sort of stuff. I chose this style of TN because I don't like the Vapor Max sole. It's just me. I don't like the Vapor Max sole because I roll my ankles in it. Don't ask how, but it just happens. That Nike swoosh there isn't really looking the best either. And it also smells, of course. It smells of super cheap, which is what we were after. But there's one thing that I've noticed straight away off the bat without even having to do anything, is that number one, the air platforms are, I don't know what that is, but you can see all cracks in there and stuff. So the plastic's been sort of melted. You can see right through it, which is good. The sizing is off, once again. So remember the Blazers saying that they were size 12, but they turned out to be actually size 11s or 10.5s. The same thing applies to these ones. Now I have a legit pair of size 11s, 11.5s, and now these are size 12s. So you would expect these to be bigger. However, here's my size 11s that I got from the market a couple of weeks ago, probably a month ago or something like that. If we just line them up, these are only ever, that's being generous, ever so slightly bigger than the size 11s. So now if I get my 11.5s out, forgive me, these 11.5s look like absolute dog shit because I tried to paint them and I failed miserably, see? And there we go. And that's, I'm pretty much on the money with that. There you go. So they're the 11.5s and these are the supposed 12s, and they are clearly not that. I would say that these would be more of a 11 than anything else. Let's have a look around the shoe for quality control and all that sort of stuff, as we usually do, and see. Ooh, that code is very dodgy looking. We'll get to that. We have to address something. I say shoe very differently. I cannot help it. It is my accent. If I say it really slowly, shoe, I think it's okay, but that's just silly. So I'm just going to call them kicks. No, I'm not going to call them kicks. I'm going to call them sneakers. No, I'm just going to call them Air Max Plus. I'm just going to call them things, okay? I'm just going to call them things. So first things first with these shoes is how squished they are. That's number one. The second thing is the stitching, as we pointed out, is not really accurate in some areas, but it'll do. The Nike swoosh is way off. That's not acceptable at all. And the sole, looking at it, it's not terribly bad, but I can definitely see some imperfections here and there. But that platform there with all the weird bubbling and stuff is a bit concerning. Moving along to the other platforms, they look just as equal. They've got a bit of a rough texture to them as well. The toe box and the toe cap, yeah, it's just squished, and hopefully once I put my foot into it, it all pops back up again. Something to also note about the Air Max Plus is this here, for the ones I have, are wrecked. So I wonder how long this will last, depending if they fit me, of course. I don't know if this has 3M or not. I'm going to quickly check. Yes, it does have 3M just here, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't have 3M anywhere else. The TN logo on the back, it's stitched in a little bit crooked. I mean, it could be just because it's all squished and stuff, but it looks a little bit crooked. There is some glue marks around here, but I believe they're on my ones as well. My legit ones actually have glue marks, so I guess it's not too bad. The uppers don't actually look terribly bad. They look okay. The uppers, however, do not feel like the other ones. These ones just feel very synthetic and cheap sort of thing. We will get to my other ones though, of course, but that's one thing to note. The shoelaces are just shoelaces. They are just generic white ones. There is the Nike swoosh and the Air on the tongue there. You can see some sort of inconsistencies around there with the stitching, but they had to cut corners somewhere. The tag. Here we go, the tag here. That is a pretty dodgy looking tag, my friends, considering that it actually has, whoa, okay. Code is 604133408. These were 2018 shoes, which I probably could say that's correct. The swoosh is there, the size chart there, US 12, UK 11, doesn't really look accurate. And then it has a whole bunch of other stuff just there, a whole bunch of numbers and patents and, I don't know, codes and stuff. It even has Nike written there and more numbers that go past the stitching line of the, that's really confusing. There's also a bit sort of frayed there. Oh, that's really frayed on the tongue there, but that's okay. That tag is very dodgy. That's not looking good. The insole is removable. Very tight though. It is just a single piece of yoga mat foam with nothing on it except for Nike printed on there, which is usual. My ones don't have anything printed on them, I don't believe. No, because they've all rubbed off. That sucks. Very standard. Nothing to really look at. Inside of the shoe, we have the normal cross stitching, and there's a little... yeah, I shouldn't do that because I'm going to pull it off. Okay, we'll just put that down there. Yeah, it's a little bit stuffed up there, but you know what? It's good enough. It's good enough. And the sole of the shoe, well, this doesn't look too bad. Colors are quite vibrant. The TN Air, that's just there, tuned air. Looks pretty good. Plastic all around here looks fairly good. Feels grippy. Feels super grippy. So this is probably the best part of the shoe so far. I mean, there's a little bit of paint sort of leaking there, a little bit iffy in there, but hey, these are $36 shoes. My legit ones I got at the flea market. These ones were $7.50 and the other ones were only $2. But in the name of science, I spent more on fakes than just roll along with it. Anyways though, we've established several things about this shoe already. It's cheap, which is what I wanted. So far, it's not too bad. But it's when we compare it with the real ones, I think we're going to see quite a lot of differences here and there. I'm just going to quickly check the other shoe, because you just never know. Yeah, US 12, Nike, all that sort of stuff. How's the swoosh looking on that one? It's a little bit crap. The platforms, oh, that plastic's really, really super soft. I feel you could just pop that. In the name of science, should I stick a razor blade through that? Nah, I won't. Paint job looks a little iffy on there. The sort of plastic feeling leather that's all around here stitched on there. I mean, it's not too bad. It will do for the most part. It will do. I'll say these are acceptable. They're not terrible. They're acceptable. For the price, they're acceptable. We looked at the other shoe enough, so we're going to be using this as the main comparison for this video. The size 11 one is here. Now you might see some differences so far. Then we have the 11.5. So putting them all together, what do I see first? The profile of them is significantly different. Maybe because these haven't been laced properly and have my foot in them, they're looking a little bit rough at the moment. But otherwise, profile, yeah, I think it's a little bit of a miss there. Sorry, I just swapped around shoes just quickly because I feel that this is closer to this one. But the toe cap definitely is more defined on these ones than this one. Maybe because it's squished, that's probably the reason. But the lacing area on these ones seem to be closer than these ones here. The tongue also doesn't stick up as much, whereas this one sticks up quite a lot. So does this one here. This one doesn't really stick up quite as much. Also, the comfort on the tongue as well. There's more comfort on the tongue on this one. Just something I noticed. Let's flip around to the back and have a look at all three logos. The height of these two are perfectly fine. This one is slightly lower, ever so slightly. But if we kind of just bring it up a little bit, it's almost there. It's almost there. The lines here that go past the badges are all present. You can't really see that one, but it is there. But the badges themselves, this is actually smaller than these ones here. The mids look pretty much exactly the same so far. There's no real differences apart from the crappy paint job that I've done to this one. You can see glue marks on there. I mean, they're more prominent on this one, but you can definitely see them. Size-wise, we've already established, and I've just noticed in this one it says Nike and then the swoosh, which is what it says in that one, so that's correct. Weight-wise, though, these are light. These have some weight to them, so that is another difference. So that's the bottom of the shoe in the sole area. My ones are quite worn out, as you can see. It's close enough. You can see the TN Air is also smaller on this one than this one. I mean, these are the bottoms of the shoe. No one's going to really see anything, but hey, I just want to make sure. And then going up here, I mean, all the dots are gone from my legit ones because they've been worn out. That's what it's supposed to look like. I'd say that the soles and the mids are pretty close. So the air platforms, or the bubbles, are actually larger on the size 12 ones than the size 11s. I mean, that sort of does make a little bit of sense. They seem to be about correct anyways. Same as the stitching coming down. It's a little bit different, but it's close enough. And then that's sort of the arch on there as well, lining them both up. I'd say that's fairly close. Going to the top of the shoe, see how that's all worn out there? So I wonder how long these will last before that sort of starts to happen. Obviously, a lot of wear and tear has been applied to these, but for that to happen, it's going to take a lot for these ones. Maybe it just might take a walk down to the shops for them to just fall apart. Who knows? The uppers themselves, well, the Nike swoosh number one, I was going to say it doesn't look the best on the real ones, but no, that's a lot better than what we have on there. It just looks, once again, more prominent on the real ones than it does on the fake ones. The uppers on the real ones feel quite soft, like really comfortable feeling, whereas these feel really synthetic and just doesn't feel right. I mean, that's an ASMR comparison right here, but you can tell the difference by sound. That's the best way that I could describe it right now. The air platforms, there's less. You can see 4 there, and then you can see just 3 there. And you can also actually, oh my God, you can actually see inside there, you can see it split right down the middle, and you can see how they glued it together. So that's gonna be fun. I don't even think the Air Max Plus technology is even applied to the fake ones. I think it's just literally a decoration inside of there. The tags, legit one, that's as legit as you're gonna get. 2015, these were made, 604, 133, 156. Sorry for the insides looking a little ratty, but I tried to clean them as best as I could, and they're white, and that's very hard to clean white shoes. Trust me, it's very hard. And then we go to these ones, and it's like, let's just type the whole dictionary on here instead, and that is a tag for sure. That's probably the most fake looking Nike tag I've ever seen in my life. The cushioning around the backs of the shoes as well feel about the same on the sides as well. Inside, pushing down on them, feels about the same as well. I can remove the insoles from here, but here's a difference. This one's glued down, but you can see the amount of stitching that's going on these ones. You can see that they go, and it's all stitched down there. See, that's not going to come off unless I pull it. Otherwise, on the legit ones, there's a lot of stitching, whereas on these ones, it was just the cross-stitching around the edges, and that was it. Now, these ones are 604, 133, 037, made in 2011, so these are significantly older. The insole is not removable on these ones, but I can just pull it up ever so slightly. So the stitching on this one looks like some surgery stitching. Someone's opened it up, took something out, and then stitched it back together. But we get the general idea of the stitching quality on the real ones compared to the fake ones. Also the profile on these, the tongue, how much that sticks up compared to these ones. Once again, once I lace them up, might be all different. See, the air platform on the legit ones is different to the fake ones. Nike swoosh, so much better on there than it is on there. The detailing on this, you know, the color gradients and stuff, the fade in from the black to the blue there is quite solid on the real ones, of course. And then from the black to the white, it's not too bad. You can see obvious dots and stuff where they've done the gradient change, but look, it's acceptable. The air platforms are smaller on the fake ones than they are on the real ones. That doesn't make sense because these are supposed to be bigger. Oh, it's confusing. Yep, they're smaller. They are smaller. And the back, yeah, it's about the same, but my God, you can just see right through that. You can just see it's just cut in half. I mean, I've never dissected an MX Plus shoe, so I can't really tell you for certain. So comparison-wise, the mids and the sole, I think they've got down pat. The uppers, I think, are definitely a hit and miss. Considering the TN badge is smaller, the upper material doesn't feel the same. There's some little details and differences, like here and stuff. It's just not as clean as the real deal. There's just certain things that are quite noticeable. From afar, I reckon you could probably pass these off as being legit. Are these going to be as comfortable as legit ones? Both my legit ones have been worn quite a lot. So the comfort level is not going to be as factory as they were, but they're still going to be comfortable shoes no matter what, because these are just generally comfy shoes. Also, the insides of the shoes also have different materials. You can see that's sort of netting, that's just plain, and that has netting as well, so it's all different. Even though they're supposed to be the same models, they all have sort of different materials. I guess it's just the colorway. They change the materials up. I mean, like this has actual netting. This one has just sort of... I don't have to explain it. I can just make sounds and you guys can go, ah, yeah, I see what you're doing. I think I've rambled enough about the comparison of these shoes. So let's cut to the on-foot segment, where we find out if these fake $36 Air Max Plus TN shoes compete against the legit, real deal Air Max Plus TNs that I have on hand. So let's get to it and continue on. Alright, here are the fake TN kicks on foot. Let's start by confirming that these are size 11 US, because I decided to put the fakes on my left foot and my legit US 11s on my right foot and walked around in them for a while and felt that size-wise, they were about the same. So US 12, these are definitely not. The tag in the fakes is definitely wrong, as we all know. Next up is comfort. While the sockline area matches up with the legit ones, that air tech in these fakes is not in use. It's just for decoration, as I pointed out in the video. When I push down on the fakes, there's no bounce to them, if that makes sense. Whereas the legit ones have that bounce, like the air platform is supposed to do. Don't get me wrong though, for the time I wore them for, they did actually feel okay, and I think that I could probably spend a full day wearing these. However, the question is it worth getting fakes to save money from the real deal? Absolutely not. The real deal, of course, has significantly better quality, as you all know, and will last and not start to fall apart. And so far, the fakes have started to fall apart ever so slightly. Some separation is occurring around the toe box area, and the printing on the insole has faded off. Alright, now let's move on to the legit pairs. Straight away, I felt that comfort from the air platform, which we all know and love. Just the bounce on the pavement and overall stability is just way better on the legit ones. My size 11.5 ones though are a little bit loose since I wasn't wearing socks with them and I didn't relace them for the segment, but just compare the white ones to the fakes and there's the differences straight away. While it's hard to give you guys a very accurate description of comfort, you can see the difference in quality from the fakes to the real deal, even if they are just minor details. As I've mentioned though, the air tech is just for decoration and doesn't really do anything at all, except raise your height just ever so slightly. Well, there you have it, a 22-minute video of me rambling about the differences between a fake pair of TNs and a real pair of TNs. It was worth it though, since I was intrigued to actually see the differences between the two shoes, and I guess lesson learned here is that if you don't have money to get from retail, just grab a pair second-hand on eBay or from a flea market like I did and save a bunch of cash. But if you aren't into the whole second-hand thing, maybe go to an outlet and find a pair cheap one day. Otherwise, this video has gone on too long now, but a quick few updates. There will be a bunch of shoe reviews coming soon, more comparisons as well, which is a change, and some tech stuff also thrown in there. Until then, take care everyone, be good people, and I will see you all in the next video, whatever that may be. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you made it to the end, you got through some really cringy old s'mores. If you liked it though, leave a like. If not, then feel free to dislike. I'll see you in the next one.